everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning from wherever you are joining us from today, and welcome to a Microsoft Reactor livestream event on generative AI for no-code makers. My name is Nadia, and I'm the Reactor Program and Event Manager here in Sydney. Today, I'll be joined by Arafat Teeson, who was a Senior Manager at EY and a Microsoft MVP for AI based in Sydney. But before we kick off, I'd like to draw your attention to the Reactor Code of Conduct. In short, we want to ensure that this is an enjoyable event for all, so please ensure your comments are constructive and welcoming to all attendees. Please do send us your questions throughout the session in the chat, and we will try to answer as many as possible. Additional links will be added to the chat throughout, including our survey, so if you have the time, please fill that out. And if you would like to reference back to today's session, you can do so on our Reactor YouTube channel. So now it's time to hand the floor over to our incredible speaker. Thank you for joining, and over to you, Arafat.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining me through the live stream. Imagine a world where you can create anything you want just with a few words. A world where you can generate captivating stories, remarkable experiences, and stunning visuals using the power of AI. A world where you can build personalized voice assistants that can understand and respond to your needs. This is the world of generative AI, and it is closer than you think. So today we are going to learn how you, as someone who is not a developer, but a business user or someone who is just a subject matter expert, can learn all about generative AI with the tools that would enable you to create some useful applications, business workflows to solve your problems or your customers' problems. I'm Arafat Teeson. I'm a senior manager at EY and a Microsoft MVP for AI. I do a bunch of stuff within the community with a vision to make AI accessible for everyone, regardless of your background. This session is one of the reasons to achieve that. So let's see what we will cover in this session today. We'll start with the reason as why we are discussing AI and what are the applications, why it is so important in your daily lives. And then we'll talk about the large foundational language models along with what Microsoft and OpenAI are doing in this space. Later in my talk, I'll show you how I was able to make all my marketing business process flows in Power Platform and Microsoft Teams as well without writing a single line of code with the help of generative AI, in our case with OpenAI or Azure OpenAI Service. But let's learn a little bit about AI. So this may not be super new for you, those who have been in this space, or those of you who have been reading about this from past couple of months, I would say, since ChatGPT's inception. But it's just covering a few historic moments in AI where it had a aha moment. So in 1956, AI was actually defined as the field of research in one of the colleges, and this term was coined by John McCarthy. Then in 1997, we saw machine learning came into being that enabled computers to make decisions or predictions. Later on, in 2017, deep neural networks got quite famous and started being used in the industry to create some useful solutions. And later on in 2021, everything got changed. I was having a look at one of the statistics that it took 4 years for Facebook to reach to a point where ChatGPT just reached in 2 months. So you can imagine that how powerful and useful it is. Now, we are discussing that what is the importance of AI, why we are discussing this, why do we want to discuss all of that generative AI aspect. So if we see AI is changing the world, changing the way we live, and it is indeed changing the world. Our daily routine is heavily infused with all the artificial intelligence. Every software or app you use is having some kind of AI in it, and that's the landscape of AI, which is enormous. And this is, of course, not the primary topic of my discussion today. Otherwise, I would have shown you that how it grew in just a year. So now you may say that, yes, fine, we know what is AI. Like we know about this buzzword or the technology or everything is infused with AI. But what about generative AI? What is that? So basically, it's just a genie you wish you had in your pocket. It is a type of AI that generates the new data for you, be it like text, chat GPT, text, or images like Dolly or Midjourney, audio, video, and so on. So, for example, um, I could have asked it to create the content for this slide. I did not, but I could have. That's so. This is the overall generative AI landscape, and I'm not saying that everything is listed in it. So I today I read that just in Australia, I think there were more than 60 startups or 62 startups, or probably more than that, just grew with generative AI. So I'm just talking about Australia. So you can imagine that how fast it is growing. So and since it is very fast, so you know that it has got a potential. That's why it is growing so with this space. Um, and now let's talk about something which is what happens when you actually type something in chat gpt, let's say. So you've got a prompt, right? And then in the prompt you have got a model, which when you write something, it goes to a model and then it completes. So now, for example, we say that the capital of Australia is, and then it would complete it as Canberra. The reason why it would do is because these models are trained on a vast variety of vast data sets. We'll come into that part in a bit, but let's take another example. So the other example is, since now let's go to the other example. Sorry. So the other example is that if I write that I climbed a mango tree and picked, of course, it would not say apple because I've already mentioned that I'm climbing a mango tree. So it would say mango. Same is the case if I say I climbed a tree and picked a. So since this is non-deterministic model, which means that it always generates something random, if it is a generic statement. So you can see that there is a chance that I would see as a response mango, but there is a chance that I would see it as a few fruits, and there is a chance that I may see something else as well, like a few of the plums, and I must say that they were sweet as plums. So the response can vary. um, Going forward, if we this mod these models are not updated, and if you want to try out yourself, you can have a look by writing this question, because this is a famous question of the times, that if you want to test out that when the model was stopped, as everybody knows that ChatGPT was trained till 2021, and according to 2021, Queen was still alive. So if you write this question now, you will see that it would give you this exact same result or similar results, as you can see over here. So this means that it does not have the updated information. Now, some can argue me that yes, Bing Chat or Bard or anything like that now is infused with the search results. That is correct. But we are talking about foundation model. We are talking about large language models without any um, plugins or without any add-ons. Now, again, the other dangerous part of that, so the first one was like it does not know everything. The second was that it hallucinate as well. And when I say that it hallucinates, it means that it spreads or it creates some nonsense with confidence. So I myself did an experiment over here, and what I did was that I asked ChatGPT to give me a very fancy name of of a scientist, and a scientist that that was never born. It gave me a name of this Lilithia Starlight, right? What I did, I asked write a biography of Lilithia Starlight, the inventor of Lit Now, and include the references as well. So what it did, um, it create a whole biography of it, included the references as well. I've got the whole biography of this. If anybody wants to read about it, happy to have a discussion on that during our questions. Um, Before we get into that as well, I would like to say that if you get any questions, please feel free to write down. I'm reading your questions so I can take them as we move along. Moving on. So, if I write this to ChatGPT or any other similar model, it will make up something of its own, because now, as I said, that they have been trained on a vast model, purely like they have been trained on entire internet, so they have the information about how to respond back. If I say my name is Arafat, who are you, it would say my name is John, nice to meet you. And it can have a different name as well at the next time you ask. If I do not give this model a context, it will say, if I ask, can you can give me a nickname if you like, and it will say yes. How about Sparky? And this was the real example. It has given me this name. But when I said my name is Arafat, and then the agent, which is model, it says my name is John, and I said you can give me a nickname if you like, and then it gave me a name because it kept the context. So if you give a little bit context on your previous chat, it can turn out that it is going to reflect its answers on the basis of that. So this is how it usually works. So, foundational generative AI models can generate text, images, and code. They can generate human like output because they have been trained on a vast variety of data sets or entirely on internet. They can also provide you some useful information and also provide you the continuation of that sentence as well. They can create some really nice content for you because they have seen those content or similar content, and they can generate out of that. What they can't do is they are not intelligent. So it's just a predictive system, and which is designed to give a likely continuation of the prompt given the training data. They run the same prompt, so they get a different output, and that's why they are not deterministic. They are also not grounded, which means that they don't know about your data unless you provide some previous context to that. And that's why I was saying that they can hallucinate facts and confidently assert them to be true. And in my words, the way I like to say is, they spread the nonsense with confidence. They cannot know everything. So yes, you can say that, yeah, yeah, it knows everything. Whenever I ask something, it gives me an output which I wanted. Yeah, yeah. Yes, because it has been trained on a vast variety of data, but it does not know everything. um, Same is the case that they don't usually learn by the time unless they are programmed like that. Take for example ChatGPT. It is trained to a certain amount of time, and that's why we saw Queen's example. They are still constrained by an extensive set of the prompts which you have to give in order for them to act properly. Otherwise, they cannot. So, these are some of the scenarios where I wanted to highlight that this is essential for you to know before you think that they are super intelligent. They are not. Now, what has happened after that is Microsoft did a partnership with OpenAI, and as a result of that, whatever OpenAI had in terms of the offering for the artificial intelligence models, Microsoft brought them into their own cloud as well. Uh, Everybody knows OpenAI also runs on Azure um, supercomputer, but Microsoft's models are in a different way, more secured, and working with under, like working in a secured walls of those security or certifications of security. As a result of that, you get everything, whichever whatever is there in OpenAI. So 3.5 GPT, Chat GPT model, which is 3.5, GPT-4, um, Codex, Dolly, everything that is offered by OpenAI is also reflected in your OpenAI service. Azure AI. So, what has Microsoft done in terms of the AI stack, that they have enabled developers and business users to infuse AI capabilities into your applications or solutions. And as a result of that, what they are, or what is being done right now, is using OpenAI, or specifically Azure OpenAI service. They are adding capabilities to different platforms, like, for example, Power Platform, for example, Microsoft 365. You must have seen a lot of videos that you can see Copilot coming up in Microsoft 365, Copilot coming in Dynamics 365, Copilot coming up in Power Platforms, different family members of Power Platforms, Power Virtual Agents, Power Automate, Power BI, Power Apps. Everything is getting infused with the Azure OpenAI service. And today, since for the no code our topic is for the no code makers. So we will discuss only the application platform which is infused by AI Builder, and which is using internally Azure OpenAI service. So we'll get into that, and I'll show you that how you can create some of the good applications using that as well. But let's move forward. I'll take one question. So, does MS give free credit to build generative AI models using existing Azure AI models? I don't think so. First of all, you need to get an access to the generative AI models, which is you can't build, like, I think you meant to say, Safwan, that you wanted to use your own, use these models in your applications. You don't want to um, build. When you mentioned build, it means that you wanted to use. So I'm taking it that in that way. And then the answer is, I don't think that they provide free credit for that. You may need to spend a little, and it is not super expensive. So you need to apply for Azure OpenAI service. I don't think that it is generally available, but with the approvals. So you need to provide them a case, provide Microsoft a use case, and then you will get an access to the certain models. Yes, thanks. If you have got any other questions, please let them come, and then I'll answer them. So, as we said that we would go with the no code capability, so we are now going to discuss what Microsoft has for the no code makers in terms of generative AI. So AI Builder is one of the platforms which has got the capability for creating some really cool solutions without writing a single line of code, and using the power of Power Platform as well. You can infuse it natively in your applications. When I say natively in your applications, which means that you can use AI Builder models directly within Power Apps, Power Automate, and create your workflows. So, for example, you want to you want to create a flow that would read your emails, and classify them as important, not important, or coming from a certain client, and you want to extract something out of it. You want to check the sentiment out of it. You want to see opinions out of it. So we'll see those use cases in next slide. But for as I said, that it is natively integrated. So that's how you use it. Very simple way to use it in Power Automate, and simple way as well in Power Apps. This is nothing new. That's how you usually create flow. That's how you usually consume the other models as well. So Microsoft has kept the similar way, or I would say AI Builder team has kept the similar way of consuming these models. Yes, you will get the slides on when I will share. Another question by Vishal: what's Auto GPT, and is it something that Microsoft uses? No, Auto GPT. I think it's an open source other utility. It is not. Microsoft is not using it as far as I'm aware of. How data is shared on generative AI platform kept private? Wouldn't Microsoft has access once it is shared and utilize the tools? Good question, Trimson. The your data remains your data. It is within your subscription of Azure. It does not go outside. Microsoft does not learn from your data. That's what Microsoft also claims. I did host a podcast on this with one of the members of Azure OpenAI Service, and they confirmed me that yes, Microsoft does not learn from it. It remains within your subscription for a while. You can opt out from that as well, so that it will be deleted right away. Yes, I will share the PowerPoint slide. No worries. So, what business can this model unlock? This model can unlock a lot of use cases. So you can see that from sentiment analysis, you can ask to translate the content. You can ask to generate some content. You can ask for automated responses, or you can say summarization of certain text. So the possibility is beyond whatever you can do with merely ChatGPT. You can do this with AI Builder. So one can ask that why I'm using AI Builder, because you can easily integrate it within your applications. Whereas for ChatGPT, you may need to write code, right? Um, so, how it is possible? Everybody knows that, as I said, Azure OpenAI Service is behind everything which is there in generative AI space within Microsoft. So, these are a couple of examples. And apart from the blue one, which is to create the images, you can certainly use all of these examples within AI Builder. So, I've just written these as a example prompts, but you can literally go and write a tagline for the ice cream shop. It would create it. You can write even a SQL query. Yes, we are not talking about code over here, but I'm just giving you an example. You want to extract some data out of such certain text, you can do that as well. So now, since we have done this, I'm going to talk about a little bit of prompt engineering, because this topic has been a little um, it has been going around for a while. Everybody on LinkedIn has been sharing their best hacks on prompt, or they have been sharing some prompts that how they would make your life easier. To a certain extent, they do, not all the time. So, because it varies business to business, it varies from your use case to my use case. So, the best way to approach this is to learn about what are the best practices for prompt engineering. And when I say what are the best practices, it means that you should know that um, how do you write a certain prompt that would give you some best output. So let's talk about this. You have to be, when you are asking about certain output from the model, you need to be very clearly descriptive and specific about it. This means that you if you are asking for a summarization of a content, tell that model how do you want it to summarize, like what should be the tone of that, how many lines, how many characters, oh sorry how many lines, oh sorry how many characters, What is the tone for that? Similarly, if you are parsing any information, if you want an extraction of that information, you need to tell that model that in which format do you want. There are many format of extracting information. You can extract that information in a JSON format. You can extract an information in a bullet format. um, so you have to be very clearly descriptive and specific. And that's why this is just an example that you want HTML, JSON, or whatever. Then you need to evaluate if the conditions are satisfied or not. So let's say you have asked for certain text, and if in order to check that the response is correct, you need to evaluate your conditions whether the satisfied or not. You cannot build everything within one go, and that has come from my experience, because I have created a couple of solutions so far, and I've seen that you cannot write the perfect prompt at the first sight. So you may need a um, little bit of iteration. One, you will write it once, and then you will try to write it again to improve that prompt again and again. And when I say the iteration, it means that, let's say, you are building a case where you have got a food bot, and in that bot, or a, a franchisee of a food, famous food outlet, and then you want to build a bot for your food outlet, and you have instructed chat generative AI model that you need to be very specific on asking questions, but you need to bring in um, three part types of information from your user. One is what is the food, the other one what is the spice level, and the last one is whether do they want uh, to pick up or deliver. If you are not going to write with the proper uh, description or a specification, it may not be giving you the correct responses. And we'll see this in example. So you have to set the goal within your prompt before going into the details. So set the goal like, I want to summarize this text and then write the text. I want to summarize this and then, or I want to extract the data from it and then write the context of it. If your model does not provide the information or does not have that, then leave a room for unknown or not found, which means that if the let's say you are building a bot or to answer facts, and if someone asks during that fact, someone asks that tell me a joke, so this is out of the context for the facts bot, so that model should say that I don't know, or this is unknown to me, or blah blah. So give a model an out. Again, you need all of this requires some improvements or some learning. And when I say some learning, it means that you need to provide an examples to these before you get an output of it. And this is where we come to another topic, which is called few shot, zero shot, and one shot learning. So what's that? Zero shot learning is a, an AI model must output or solve tasks without having any prior knowledge, right? On that, you can consider it basically in a way that your teacher doesn't show you any examples of cat drawing. Instead, they tell you that a cat has pointy ears, whiskers, and a tail, and you have to draw a cat just using that information. You need to use your imagination and what you already know about other animals to draw a cat without seeing any pictures. So this is zero shot learning because you have not seen it, so you will create just with your imagination. One shot learning, similarly, taking cat's example, your teacher shows you how to draw a cat by just giving you one example, and you have to learn how to draw other types of cats or other cats on the basis of that single examples. It's like learning to draw all kind of cats after seeing just one picture. And few short, your teacher gives you example like two or more or four cats of different cats drawings, and then try you as a model try to understand that what makes a cat look like a cat. It's like learning to draw cats after seeing a small set of pictures. So usually few short learning is recommended, and I whenever I'm doing something sophisticated, I also try to ensure that few short I've already given some examples so that it gives me a correct output. Now, moving on, we have got a demo, and I will walk you through everything in detail. So, we have got plenty of time. But before we get into that, um, I'll take another set of questions and then we'll come to this handyman services demo. So Vishal says Copilot for Power BI sounds like something you could use. Yes, definitely you could use. Can content creation API be only used through Power Automate and virtual agents? Can it be direct link to Power Pages without Automate? The answer is no. It cannot be directly linked to Power Pages. The reason of that is AI Builder has got the interfacing with Power Apps and Power Automate right now. I have not seen it integration. I have not seen any integration with Power Pages yet. Not super expert within Power Platform space, but as far as my knowledge is concerned, there is none right now. But there is a good use case. My suggestion to you, Safwan, is to open up as a part of an idea into their forums. Microsoft product teams take it very seriously, and if the votes of your idea goes higher, then it will definitely be taken into a product roadmap. Crimson asks, how does zero shot work? Zero shot works on the basis of the previous examples, not by what examples you have given, but with the large data set it has created. And as I said in my cat example, that you if you are a model, you need to use your imagination. So model will also try to grasp whatever it knows about that subject, and then it will try to create a picture, or you can say a depiction of that. So that's how it works. Now, coming to the handyman demo part, what is that? So, as I said that in my start, that I was able to create the whole journey from Power Automate, or from so the a little step back. Sorry, the step back, and we are now working with handyman services. Handyman services mean is handyman services is just like that we provide handyman, right? We provide all kind of those services, but we have got a very good marketing department. That marketing department did not want to write every post themselves, which means that they had to write some uh, viral social media content for their marketing, but it was repetitive according to them, and they wanted to create something very attractive, but not manually, because manually they wanted to do something like when they were doing manual work, they were of course having a challenge of time and everything else. So they had a very small business, so they thought that let's use this automation of using the generative AI tooling, and then we would create social media posts and it will be posted automatically, with a very important factor in between, and that important factor is human element. So human is involved in between all of this. The use case is very simple, that marketing department or the staff of the marketing goes to the Power Virtual Agent, tell that bot I want to create a social media post. Then within Power Automate, which is our orchestrator for AI artificial intelligence, that does all of that stuff. So it takes that and generates the content using GPT action. We'll see in demo. And then it sends the content for approval within Teams to the manager, to the marketing manager. And then once the manager approves it, then it goes back to the person who has requested for this. And then if I wanted later on, I could have just taken this content, posted on social media as a further automation. But I just wanted to give this uh, walkthrough of what you can do. Definitely, there are many use cases, as I said about in my earlier example, emails, um, whatever you can do with Power Automate as an automation, you can use generative AI within that element as well, because now it is a part of for that model is a part of Azure AI Builder. I'll take last question before, not the last as in of the session, but the last which has just come in, and then we'll jump to the live demo part. All right, so I may need to first see is is 10 the appropriate amount of examples? Might be hard to know, but we could go on and on into the detail. Just wondering how much detail we know above a creation number is too much. I think that this is a good question, Vishal. I have seen many experts, and they have talked about maximum 10. Um, I think within your 10 examples, that would be sufficient. I have not personally. I've created a couple of solutions. I have not gone beyond 5, and it returned me some really good responses. Not sure about your case, but if you can write a case with to me, I'm happy to help you out with that. How long did the training take? What training? We did not train anything, Safwan, because we are going to use the already uh, Azure OpenAI model behind the scenes within powered by AI Builder powered by Azure OpenAI Service. So we are not doing any training. We are just using that, and I'll show you now. So I'll stop sharing my this screen, and then I'll present another screen. Bear with me just for another 1 minute. Meanwhile, you can ask me any questions if you have, and then we'll go. So, right. Okay. Um, so I hope now you can see my this screen. So this is the Power Automate. You can go to make.powerautomate.com. You can do whatever you want from here. Use create flows, do blah blah blah. But our topic of discussion is AI Builder. So if you go to AI Builder, click on Explore, you will see different models. You may or you may not see this preview model. I'm not sure if you can see. Probably you can. If you can't, then you just you may need to wait. I think you first of all you need to have the US. Your environment needs to be in US tenant. So my environment is it within US tenant, so that's why I can see this. So if I click on this, this is basically the text generation which I was talking about. So if I click on this, you will see that it has got some nice UI. It will tell you that, hey, summarize a, let's say create a blog post. So if I say create a blog post, and Microsoft has done a very good job in providing you the prompts already. So if you don't like their prompts, like identify the sentiment of the text below as positive, neutral, or negative, identify the possible subject causes for this sentiment assessment, which means that opinions as well. Now, when the aspect as well. When the text below has less than couple of words, answer that you can't identify the sentiment. So this is you are giving the out to the model. This is you are giving very specific use cases. Sorry, you are being specific about what you want. You can be or more specific if you want, like I want a data in a particular format. And I if I can say that, but let's have a look at it. So I will write it over here that um, yesterday. If I write and if I now test it out, you will see that it will give me the sentiments of that. So now it is, you can see that it is generating the response. And you can see that it has given me sentiment as neutral. Why? Because you can see that I said that food was extremely yummy, but the dessert was just okay. And the possible subject causes taste of the food and dessert, sweetness of the dessert, right? Now I can change this and I can say identify. Okay. and and I did not try this earlier, so probably it can give me a response in JSON format or it cannot. So it is not giving me a response in JSON format, but there are ways to make it happen as well. However, this is just to give you a glimpse of what you can do now over here. You can, so they have created a couple of cases for you, like you can say, and they are, again, they are giving an out to the model again and again. You can see that they are saying, if you ask me a question that is nonsense, tricky, or has no clear answer, I will respond with unknown. I will also state that source of my information whenever feasible. So they are, you there are many ways where you can utilize this. You can ask them to create a very viral post. So they can, let's say, let's ask this from the scratch. um, you are a handyman business, or you are a food. So if I write this and then within your text, within your write text. So let's go back to the our actual example, and then I'll show you how does it work, rather than rather than going over here. Is it possible to restrict OpenAI dataset? I'll come to this question in a bit. Just give me a minute. So my case was this. So I have written over here, you are a handyman. Your job is to help people with their usual queries. People would be based in different locations of Australia. As I'm based in Sydney, Australia, I've just written over here. So if I say the question, they right, so their usual queries, which means that if I ask my question over here that um, how to fix my broken window, and it should give me a response based upon my question. Depending upon the type of window you have, the best way to fix a broken is blah 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 blah, right? So since I have given it a context, I can be more specific, or I could be more specific, which I could not, or which I did not. I could have gone a little more specific about this, but anyway, to jump, conscious of time as well, I will come to this. Carlos, I'll answer your question, and good to see you, by the way. So coming to Power Virtual Agent. So what we have done, since we are short of time, so I'm just running a bit, but we, if we get time, we'll dive into the details of it. The way we have built all of that solution is, you know, that there is a Power Virtual Agent bot. um, what do they do is, I'm not going to get into the Power Virtual Agents altogether, because definitely you can learn about it later on. um, I created these two topics: ask handyman and social media post. Ask handyman was using the same prompt which I showed you over here. I created this using Copilot, by the way, so I did not write a single line of code. I just came over here and wrote the topic, let's say ask handyman, and I said that let a user ask about the handyman questions, blah blah blah, and it created everything for me. And if I go inside it, you can see everything was created except for the fact that I created Power Automate Flow. Whatever the question comes in, I send it to Power Automate Flow. Whatever the answer I get back, and I show it over here. So the other topic which I created was around the social media post. Again, I took a post, and then I take a post, sent it to my Power Automate flow, and I've put some logic. The logic is to see whether it has gone for the approval or not. So let's try to see this. And I say I want to create a post, right? And it will say, what would you like to post today? And I will say plumbing, right? So this is plumbing services. Now, what it will do is that it is going to call Power Automate Flow, and from that Power Automate Flow, it is calling my social handy flow, right? Social handy flow, and it what social handy does is, if I go over here in social handy, it takes my Power Virtual Agents. It is creating a post based upon the subject which has come from Power Automate, which is plumbing. You are a social media expert for a small business named Handyman Services. Your job is to create attractive, influential social media post based upon the given topic. This is the topic. It returns back because your content has now been sent for the approval, because there is a human element involved. And then the approval starts. Approval has come over here. You can see that approval has come to me from Adele. I was impersonating as Adele, and now I, being Arafat, has got this whole plumbing post. No one likes dealing with the plumbing emergencies, but when they happen, all that contact it has created. Now, if I approve this, let's say I will say, okay, approve. Then what will happen? It will go as a direct message into my team members. You can see this approved, and this is the same message which has come over here in my teams. And then she can take this and go to her, like, whatever the social media, Twitter or blah blah, and they can post it manually, or we can also create an automation behind it. So this was the whole scenario which I used to build it. uh, you we you must have asked, you or somebody could ask, that how come I'm impersonating Adele from here? uh, the reason is that, yes, there is a limitation. I'm right now not impersonating Adele. In fact, I'm just sending her a message, uh, which is fixed. um, Power Virtual Agent has got one issue right now, that if you want to use the system variables, which is the actual email of the person who is talking to that, it works fine. The capability is there, but I think there is some bug which is not allowing me to do. So that's why I've just hard coded that. But it will work in a week or so, hopefully, or maybe 2 weeks. So this is there, the capability is there. It's just that there was a intermittent issue, and as a result of that, I couldn't make it work. So just for the sake of this demo, I just sent it to Adeli, who is my staff member. So this was basically the overall story of what I did with Power Virtual Agents and Teams, and using using this specific action. I'll take Carlos' question now. Is it possible to restrict the Azure Open AI data set, as in the scope or we want to prompt solve if private data is not available. Restrict the OpenAI data set as in the scope. Yes. So I got now, Carlos, if I understood it correctly, you don't want that, um, you don't want your outputs be uh, to be generated in a way that has got a very broad spectrum, or that has got a very broad scope. You can restrict your output, you cannot restrict the data set. uh, there is a capability coming very soon. It was announced in build, that you could be using the OpenAI service with your own data set. There are certain examples available on the internet that is again developer centric, so that's why I did not bring it over here. If anybody is interested in learning about developer stuff, we are hosting the same session just for developers on 5th of July. I'll post the link on chat as well. But yes, um, to answer your question, Carlos, no, you cannot restrict the dataset of OpenAI, but you can restrict the dataset. So you can restrict your output, or you can say you can restrict it in a way that I've written over here. You can say, you can see you are a social media expert for a small business. um, if I was to say you are a social media for a business, it means that I am expanding my use case, hence my output would be different. When will you share the slides? Yes, I'll post the slides on my GitHub, and we will notify the audience who joined. So don't worry, I will share my slides. I will share my every slide, and I will also share this demo, so everybody can go and import this in your Power platform, and they can start playing with it. So nothing is hidden over here. Um, Happy to share. Now, once we are as we are done with this demo part, unless anybody has any questions, I'll share my slides back, and let me come back with my slides again. uh, yep. So we we have seen that. So if you want to learn about all of these stuff, we will share, as I said, we'll share the slides. It has got the links which can take you. So this slide has got the links. I'll share this slide. When I'll share this slide, you will also have this capability to click on it. So if you click on it, it will take you to the exact OpenAI service page. So don't so that's how you will start learning about it. Um, Please share the event to the dev webinar on LinkedIn. Interested on that? Great demo. Thank you very much. I will definitely share on LinkedIn as well and everywhere, over here as well, very shortly on the chat, so you can see that. Um, in addition to this, I have whatever I've shown you. It is 100% available as a part of my blog post. So if you scan this on your from your phone, you can go directly uh, to that blog post. So, and anybody, if anybody has any questions, please. We have got a couple of minutes, so I can answer them. Feel free to ask anything you like.
Hey Arafat, we do have a couple of questions that have come through, so I'll just pop them on the screen. We've got one from Crimson that's just come through.
Can you give some power where power tools are power platform are applicable? Yes. So business applications, like you have got many um, different various business use cases within your business. Not sure which market sector are you working for, Crimson, or are you working with. Let's say, taking a pharmacy as an example, you want, and or not just pharmacy, in fact any retail example, you may need to have some expense tracking. You may need to, as a business, you may need to have some leave management. You may need to have some HR kind of stuff. So all kind of business applications are very useful, and then these business applications can be utilized by within Power Platform, can be built in Power Platform. Same is the case for the workflow automation. You may need to automate your marketing use case, which I've just shown you. So this is also done within Power Platform. You may need to use virtual agents for your customers. You may need to build some business websites like portals to open up a case, to open up um, some for some onboarding. So all of these things, whichever is related to your business or for your customers, can be done within Power Platform. I'm not a Power Platform expert, but there are different Microsoft MVPs who are creating some fantastic content on the Power Platform. You can go to Google or Bing and write, or go to YouTube. My suggestion is best is YouTube. Write Power Platform and learn about all of that. How can you find the slides after that stream? Good question. I will write down my link, my GitHub over here. So this is my developer session. I'm writing it as a comment. Not sure if it will go. For my slides, you will see on over here. So when you will go over here, uh, in fact, I will just make it your life easier. So they are still not here, but when you will go, you will see a 2023 folder created very soon over here. And within this, you will find my slides. All right.
I'll also add the link into the meetup as well, so you'll be able to find
Yeah.
them there too.
Yeah. Broad question, and conscious of how much could you share, but how is EY using AI? Good question. I think you can. So we have got some great use cases and case studies available on our website. We are using it extensively, as in not without any responsible principles. We have got a framework within EY. We are taking responsible AI into measures, and then we are creating some really fantastic tooling around that. Some of them are really public, where we have created some text using OpenAI with Microsoft, text chat. So you can have a look at that, and there are different cases, different use cases available in different countries. Can't share a lot, but yes, happy to chat in on a different forum if you would like to learn more. For businesses, what would be the point of difference between Azure OpenAI versus Google Generative AI Studio to convince me to use Azure OpenAI? Good question. So the better, I would say that if you are already a Google Cloud customer and you are using Google Cloud capabilities, and if your business use case is fulfilled with Google's generative I don't think that there is a way to like what is the use case of going towards Azure OpenAI. Um, both are the big cloud providers, and the reason why Azure OpenAI is, um, you can say, a little bit ahead of these platforms or the generative AI of Google for now is the maturity. Um, People are aware, and we have seen that as well, that ever since this OpenAI partnership has come up with Microsoft, it has grown up extensively. And as a result of that, we have seen more applications on that platform as opposed to other platforms. But again, as I said, that if your business use case is fulfilled with other technologies such as Google generative AI, then there is nobody is stopping you. Absolutely. Thanks for the answer to my previous question. I was also referring to the settings organization policies from your demo, preventing users from creating apps of certain topics. Yes, you can definitely. You can referring. Yeah, you can. So there is something, Carlos, for not related to this specific session, but there is something called AI Content Safety Studio, that is on the top layer of OpenAI. So whenever you are getting as an output from OpenAI or getting giving an input to Azure OpenAI service, you can have that layer built in as well, so that they may also not want to get anything created out of that model. So in when what I meant by that is, you may you my current staff could go and ask, create a viral social media content about cats or dogs, right? uh, and I had to stop them. So if I want to restrict them by that, uh, we can have the AI Content Safety Studio on the top of that as well. So you just search for it. It was recently released and announced on build as well, so it is really cool. I'll be covering that in my developer session for sure. Any other question, or we are on time? Nadia, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we are smack bang on time. That was perfect.
Okay.
Thank you
And
again, Arafat, for that awesome
yeah,
presentation. Super interactive, great questions that came through as well. I'll make sure to include the GitHub link in the meetup page. But as Arafat mentioned, he does have a developer session coming up on the 5th of July as well. So make sure you check out the Sydney Reactor page to see what other sessions we've got coming up. Other than that, have a wonderful night and thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
bye bye.